Well, this is the perfect season for something like this. Today, we're taking a look at a very popular item out there. This is an Anvil 8 kilowatt diesel air heater. Alright everybody, welcome back. So today I've got something for you that's kind of unique, and it's a perfect day to do it. You may notice that exhaust pipe running off there. Fear not, we've got adequate ventilation in here. Both doors on both sides of the garage studio are open. So I wanted to show you this. If you guys watch those van life or bus conversion channels where people live in old school buses and stuff, these things are really, really hot and really popular right now. These are basically diesel-powered air heaters. They have a little bit of a diesel combustion engine in there of some kind. I'm not an engine guy, so I'm not really sure how that works. But it's in here, and what it does is it will siphon off the exhaust, pull in the fresh air, and give you some heat out this thing. According to what I've heard, these things work very, very well. They also run on 12 volts, so they're adequate for emergency preparedness. However, you don't want to run something like this in your home, obviously, because there's an exhaust pipe. If you can vent it out, that's perfect. Now, the reason I picked this up is really twofold here. First of all, yes, I want to use this in here, and I probably am going to be doing an installation video down the road in a month or so. I got to get through some other videos first, but I want to use this in here to heat this room for me. And of course, this unit's going to be living outside, or those pipes are going to be run outside, the air intake and the thing. So for that part, it's going to be safely set up. But down the road, I also want to eventually have a shed in my backyard that's going to be my workshop / YouTube studio. And that's going to heat out there as well. And that will be a whole lot easier to set up. Now, there is some basic setup with these things, so I don't want people to freak out too much. If you've ever worked with a small engine, if you've ever put clamps on things, you'll be able to do it. There are some modifications you're probably going to have to make depending on how you're going to install this. So I'm going to explain to you mine. I'll kind of move you around a little bit. But the first thing really is you're going to be putting on a lot of hoses and hose clamps. And as you can tell, this is where the hot air will come out. I kind of have it twisted off to the side that way. So that's where the hot air is going to come out to begin with. And over here is your muffler and your exhaust. And that's going to be your first hole in this. And back here, I have mounted the air intake. So you want to keep the air intake as far away as you can from that. So that's why it's on one side and on the other. You'll notice I have a deep cycle battery here set up to run this thing. I'm not sure of the heritage of this deep cycle battery. I charged it up. It seems to be holding a charge fine, but if it dies in the middle of the video, I'll have to find another battery to run it on. But all in all, nice unit, works really well. And think about it, you can run this on solar on 12 volts and never have to worry about a bill for it. You just run the thing on solar. The only thing it takes is diesel fuel, which is of course up here. Initially when you get this, now mine, unfortunately, got a little damaged in shipping. The back piece here got pushed up, and one of the terminals got cracked. So I had to get a new terminal for it. I went to Home Depot and got a new terminal for the positive lead. But it's really very simple. It's going to run on 12 volts. You'll notice, I don't know if you can see it, I have the wires back there. It's just going to connect to the battery directly. I haven't put terminals on the connectors yet. I just basically stripped the wires and we're going to put them under these screws for today, because this is just a preliminary run, burn-in test. Now, you're going to need to prime this because it has a glow plug and it runs like a diesel engine. You're going to need to prime this unit. So what you're going to do, and I'm not going to do it because I've already primed it, is you're going to push this button and this button. After you turn it on, you're going to hold these two buttons down, and you will see the H on there, and it will start to make a ticking noise. That's the fuel going into the fuel pump. Once it's primed, you're pretty good. As long as you keep it filled up with diesel, you'll be fine. But once it's primed, you're okay, so don't worry about that. Once it's primed, you can start it up, and you'll push this button here, and we'll demo all this, and then it will start to go into function and start working. The glow plug will get hotter and hotter, and eventually you'll have all the bars across there, kind of like a cell phone signal, and that's how it will work. So what we're going to do is I'm going to reopen that door that slammed a few minutes ago. We're going to fire this thing up, and we're going to try it out. So give me a sec to get that set up, and I'll bring you right back. Alright, so you can see we have the battery connected. It is 13 degrees Celsius in here right now. You have your unit here. This is your display. It just shows the battery connected at the moment. It does show that it's primed. It dimmed out there. That's normal. You just put it back on there. Alright, I'm going to show you the quick modification that I did really on the side here. I'm going to move the camera around a little bit just to show you, so give me a sec to show you. Alright, so you notice that the exhaust comes out from underneath. and I had to make sure that that was going to clear the bottom. Now you'll notice I have this on wood blocks that were donated. Thank you very much. So these wood blocks are in front and back to give it a little bit more height. And I have a wood cutting board here, so this does, because this will get very hot. And when you run this through a wall, remember that. Make sure you're insulated and you got steel around it so it doesn't get too hot and burn your house down. But I cut a little section here just to make sure I'd have some clearance, because I wanted it to clear up in there like that. So that's the only real modification I had to do. Again, underneath you're going to put the air filter, and then this clamped on here. You're just going to fit them on there, clamp it down, you're good to go. It's that simple. Your exhaust is going to be your first hole, and your second hole is going to be your air filter. So let's move it back over, and I'll show you the priming really quick because it's already pretty well primed. And then we'll fire it up, and we'll wait and see what kind of heat we're getting out of it. Okay, so let me pull off my shirt here, or pull up my shirt I should say. When you're going to do this, you're just going to push these two buttons, and it will start to prime it. Hear that? That's the fuel pump priming. Now, you see the little fuel pump light on there? It's already primed, it's ready to go. Then you're going to be pushing the on button here and holding it, and it will start running. There's your H1, okay? And you're ready to go. We want to set it for, get back there, 16 degrees Celsius. I want to bring up the temperature a little bit. You're seeing your glow plug, that little icon there. Let me move you in so you can actually see it. There we go. You're seeing your glow plug icon on. You're seeing the fan working, and there is cold air coming out of it at the moment. You're seeing down here your intake air and your exhaust are working well. Get back on there. And you're seeing your pump back there. So it's all working, starting to heat up. I'm going to bring you back once it's running and we're getting hot air, and we're going to test the heat and see how well this thing puts out heat. Alright, so we're running up. We're all the way going here. You'll notice the fuel pump is pumping back there. There's a little bit of the engine running. There is a smell of exhaust in here, and I do have everything vented again, so don't worry about that. The engine's up to about 30 degrees Celsius. We are starting to get warm air out of here. I'm going to give it a little bit longer and show you just how well this thing puts out heat. Alright, I don't know if you can see it, but we are up to temperature there. Everything is working. Your battery's good. Your fuel pump's working. Your glow plug is working. The icon's off. We are getting very warm air out of here now. I'm going to test it really quick for you. I'm going to back up the camera again. I'm going to take our little tester here and test it out for you. So give me a second here. Alright, let's point it in there. 173 degrees coming out of there, 171, 172. Let me tell you something, that feels really good right now, because it is cold in here with all this ventilation. And one of the things you'll notice too with the exhaust tube is when you get it started, that exhaust tube is going to get really, really hot, and it's going to smoke off whatever oils or whatever was on it. It's going to smoke a little bit. Don't freak out about it. You're fine. It's not going to start a fire. I do have a piece of wood under here, like I said, to make sure I don't melt my plastic underneath. But other than that, you're good to go. So it is up and running. Now there is an interesting thing with this. When you're done, when you want to shut this off, you have to let it go through its shutdown cycle. If you don't, it will overheat and ruin your glow plug, your pump, everything. So what it's doing when it shuts down is the glow plug is burning off all the excess crud. On startup and shutdown, this will draw about 8 amps, 8 to 10 amps. So you better make sure you have a decent sized battery. I mean, I know that battery's okay to run it. It's really not taking a ton of power. It runs about half an amp while it's running. And you see all the bars are lit up like a cell phone with a full signal. This thing is fully going. The heat's coming out. Nice, hot, and nice. And this is really good, too, because there's no smell now from it. We do have exhaust coming off out of the exhaust pipe. And like I said, we got ventilation, so we're good. There is a slight smell of a diesel engine, but not really bad. So what I'm going to do is shut this down, and I'll give you my final thoughts on it, and let you know how I think this will work for me in my usages, and I'll give you some information on where to pick it up and the price. Now you'll see the glow plug is lit back up again. There's some hot air coming out still, but I have turned it off. It is going to go through its shutdown cycle now. You're still getting a little intake and exhaust, and you still have that glow plug lit up, which means it's burning off all the carbon deposits. This will turn itself off completely when it's done. Another neat feature about this is it does come with a little remote control, and that's how I turned it off. I just clicked that button there. So that's how I turned it off. I don't know if it'll turn the light back on for me. But other than that, it's a very simple device to use. When I first got this, I got to admit, I was a little intimidated by this thing up here, and I'm like, oh God, you push these buttons, you hold that, you do this, and I was kind of confused about how the heck am I going to learn how to do this for a video? For that matter, how am I going to learn how to do it to use it? But honestly, it's very, very simple, very easy to use. There's a slight bit of, I don't know if you can hear the fan. A little bit of fan going on there. It's still blowing off some heat. Yeah, actually it is blowing off some nice heat. But there's a slight noise now as it shuts down. You want to let this fully shut down. If you turn this off, if you take the power off it, okay, you're going to mess it up. You're going to ruin your glow plug. You're going to ruin the function of the unit itself. When this is fully off and done, I'm going to show you the inside really quick so you can get an idea of what's in there. These are attached by latches on the side. And yeah, latches are kind of chintzy. They'll fall apart on you. But you hear the fan going now, cooling everything off. So you definitely want to make sure you keep an eye on them when you pull them off. But all in all, it's a pretty decent unit. Even with the damage that was done in shipping, no problems with it whatsoever. So I'm definitely happy with it. Looking really good. So give me a few minutes to shut this thing down fully, and then we will take the top off and I'll show you the gas tank and everything that's inside. Alright, so it took about 10 minutes. Now my rule of thumb on these is when they stop making noise, you could disconnect them from power. As you can tell here, there's nothing but the P12 code on here, the 12 volts, that's your power. And your battery, your fuel pump is primed. You're set to go. There's your temperature, 14 Celsius. Again, no hot air coming out of here. Nothing hot coming out of that. Not stop making noise. The fan shut off. I was actually kind of sweeping up in here and getting the place cleaned up. So yeah, the fan is shut off. It's ready to go. And I do like the fact that it has the remote. That to me is a very handy thing. You can up or down the temperature from the remote. It is already set up. It is wireless, so you don't have to mess with anything. There's no pairing. There's none of that. Range is fairly decent on it. I actually was out by my front door when I was messing around with it, trying to change the temperature up and down while we were waiting for it to come up to temperature, and that worked fine. So it's a good 15-20 feet, no problem at all. So I'm liking the unit so far. Definitely liking it. In the future, I will probably do an install video on this and how I'm going to work it out here. I don't want to drill more holes in my house, so I'm probably, when I need it, going to run this outside and find a way to run a longer version of this, which I can buy at Home Depot, through my window over there, and just put a piece of wood there. So this will sit outside, and I'll bring it in when I'm done using it, of course. But definitely worth the money. Now, these have come way down in price. Units like this used to be in the thousands of dollars. These have come way, way, way down in price. So the price on these is $199.99, so $200. I will put a link down below where you can pick one up. They're fairly inexpensive now for what they are. Now what we're going to do next is I'm going to disconnect the power here, and we are going to open up the inside, and I'll show you the guts of this thing and what it really is, because it's incredibly simple. And yes, the steel here is kind of thin, you know, it's stamped sheet metal, but it seems to be doing a good job. It heated up fine, didn't cause any problems, didn't start any fires, didn't explode. I'm happy. So let's take the top off and check out the insides, and we'll finish up the video. Alright, I've got you off the tripod here. We're just going to give you a quick look around. This is your fuel pump back here, okay? And this is the fuel tank. Now this fuel tank isn't secured. My suggestion would be, if you're going to be using this in a moving vehicle, to secure it. It was not full when I started. Whoops, that's my screw to hold that piece on the back there. That's what I said, it's not fully installed yet. It's just temporarily hanging on there. It's not secured, so I would secure this down, maybe zip ties or something. Again, this will get very warm, so maybe you want to rethink that and just use some kind of zip tie to tie it to the top here. But this is your actual heater down here. That's where your exhaust and your air intakes come out through here. Gotta say, all in all, this thing worked great. It's cooled off. It's not super hot anymore. This is the other side of it. And that's it. And here's your red little cover. So it's a very simple unit. I did not fill the tank all the way up, all right? I probably filled it maybe a little tiny bit higher. So it's barely used any diesel during that time. It is kind of funny because it looks like some kind of Audi reserve fuel tank or something. But hey, the thing works. You know what? It works very well. It seems to put out a good amount of heat. I was really impressed with the heat output on it. And you saw that running within 5 minutes. It was putting out, 200 degree, 170 degree heat. So that's definitely a good deal. This is remote. You can take this off, okay? And you can run this anywhere you want. You got a little bit of room there. And of course you can extend this if you want. It's just a 3-plug adapter down on the bottom here. See there? So you can run that anywhere you want. And again, the installation on this, I'll do a whole lot more professional installation. Really what I wanted to do is turn it on for the very first time with you guys here and try it out and see how well it works. And I gotta say, I'm impressed with it. It did what it was supposed to do, worked well, didn't give me any kind of major headaches. Again, you're going to be a little bit taken back with the control panels. This is a little bit different than other ones I've seen. Some of them have the buttons here. You know, these two buttons are here and here. Some of these do different things. All in all, this was set up so I didn't have to mess around with it too much. It was ready to go right out of the box. So, all in all, I'm pleased with it. I'm happy that it does do what it says it's going to do. Let me put your camera back down here on the tripod. And I got to say, it's going to make a welcome addition to my little garage studio here, because it gets cold in here. Let me tell you, it gets cold in here. When I'm trying to do videos and my teeth are chattering, it's a little difficult. But the main reason for this isn't just in here. And that's why I'm going to do a temporary installation in here, in this room. The main reason for this is, again, looking to the future. I really want to see if I can manage to swing a little shed in my backyard to use as my studio and also my workshop. So if one day I decide I'm never doing YouTube videos again, I still got a workshop. But I don't think that day will come anytime soon, because I'm really enjoying doing it. Alright folks, that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, $200. Link will be down below. These used to go into the thousands of dollars for cab heaters for, diesel trucks and stuff. If you do have a vehicle that uses diesel fuel, you can dump the tank and run the line straight into your tank. So that will work as well. That I'm not an expert at. You need to talk to a car guy about that. And like I said, I'm still learning small engine repair. So, that's something you're going to have to talk to somebody else about. But it will work. And I've seen people do it. Some of the units are just this bottom unit here. And you run the fuel line with the pump into the tank of the vehicle. So it will definitely work for a, and the nice part is it's independent of anything here with this. I don't need to keep my vehicle running if I want to heat up my vehicle. I just need to make sure that exhaust is out my window, and I'm going to stay nice and warm. So, cool little unit, $200. Link will be down below. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to check out all our links down below. Oh, by the way, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2022. Let's hope it's a better year than last year. But definitely keep stacking, keep preparing, and keep yourselves ready to go. And like I said, I have a bunch of links down below. My Amazon affiliate store, my freeze-dried wholesaler link as well. Just click that link and you'll save 15% on anything he sells. I have my Thrive Life freeze-dried food storage link down there as well, so you want to check that out as well if you're interested in getting started on some freeze-dried food storage. I also have my Patriot supply link. That is very good for bulk food storage. If you want to just buy in bulk meals, all you got to do is store water for them. That's preparewithiridium.com, preparewithiridium.com. And like I always tell you folks, if freeze-dried food is too expensive for you, you don't need to go click on my links. Go to the store, buy yourself some canned goods, and get yourself ready. Anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. I'm going to play around with this a little bit more in here today, and I will talk to you soon. Stay safe and stay prepared.